Hi, I'm Tommy,
I'm Nick.
and we just got back from watching Oppenheimer and Barbie, so we thought we would do a review for both of those movies since they're such a hot topic together.
Yeah.
Barbenheimer.
People are back at the movies.
Yeah, the movie theater was completely full when we went to both screenings. And yeah, it was just interesting times to where, because the movies haven't been full in a long time.
Yeah. You have to worry about actually getting a ticket,
Yeah, we had to go to a really early screening of Barbie, which is fine, but
Yeah, it was 2 on a Friday.
yeah, and it was still full. Yeah. We should start with Oppenheimer first.
So Oppenheimer is, of course, directed by Christopher Nolan. And it's about J. Robert Oppenheimer.
Yes.
And the creation of the atomic bomb.
And a little bit of what follows.
Yes. So it's the story of J. Robert Oppenheimer, the creation of the bomb, and the fallout of the dropping of the bomb.
Yes.
Overall, I quite enjoyed this.
Yes.
I was very engaged throughout.
Yeah, I liked it as well. I didn't love it, but it was definitely an engaging watch and a good-ass time at the movies.
True. I also didn't love it. It has issues. Some of the more typical Nolan issues that I have personally.
Yes.
But I think as a whole it is his most elevated and intelligent and ambitious.
Maybe his most audacious.
You could say audacious.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's one of his better pieces of work. It's his most intellectual.
For sure. I think it does a good job of laying out all this information because there's a lot of science talk and it does a good job of guiding you through everything.
I thought that Cillian Murphy was excellent. One of his more meatier roles. He does a lot with his face that I like.
He has a very striking face.
Yeah, he has a very striking face, sunken in eyes. The makeup does a lot of work here too because he looks stressed out and beaten down. Very, very layered character, and his performance just adds so much to it.
Yeah, he carries it very well.
He carries the whole movie, yes.
I surprisingly liked Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, he does a good job. I don't particularly love him as an actor, his catalog of films, but I was surprised that he was actually this good.
Matt Damon was also good. I'm usually pretty neutral on him.
Yeah, I liked him in this. There's a lot of characters and a lot of recognizable faces in this movie, which could, take you out of some of it. But I feel like everybody did a good job at acting.
Yeah, for the most part.
For the most part.
And I think the people who get the least out of this are Florence Pugh and Emily Blunt. It's a very common criticism that he doesn't have strong female characters, and that's very evident again here.
No, and I feel like these are some of the worst female characters I've seen on screen in a good while. Yeah,
for as big as a role that they are intended to have, they have very little depth going on.
Very little depth. Like Florence Pugh's character is this mentally unstable young communist, and that's about all we get out of her.
There's a big fallout from that relationship.
That's integral to the plot and Oppenheimer himself.
Yeah, so it really should have had more going on there for it to pack not only the emotional punch, but it's a big catalyst for the third act.
Yes, it is, and Florence Pugh does a fine job as always, but just this character was so unwritten that it falls flat.
And Emily Blunt was, I don't know, somehow worse just because she's in it more, so you would hope that there was more going on. She's a biologist, but she's unhappy being just like the wife and the mother.
Yes.
As a character. But then the movie, that's all she is.
All she is a bad mother and a drunk.
Yeah. Yeah, she's just you see her and you hear the bottle clinking. It's we get it.
Yeah, there's a lot of... They shove it in your face that she is drunk. You need to know that she is drunk.
Yeah.
She drops her purse and alcohol falls out.
But she's giving enough in the performance. Sometimes even too much. And she's supposed to have this really big moment at the end. And that felt phony to me. It didn't hit as it should have.
No, it didn't hit because these characters aren't set up well.
But I really do think Oppenheimer is probably the only character that has anything going on.
Yeah.
Deeper.
Yeah.
I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is just interesting, but I wouldn't call that complex.
Sure. Yeah.
So while Cillian Murphy's performance is excellent, he's doing a lot, selling a lot was just his face in sort of key moments. The score is so loud at all times, it's sort of like undercutting some of the big moments.
Yeah.
Actually, some more of the small moments, I should say.
Yeah, it undercuts a lot, and the score is prevalent from beginning to end.
And it's a long movie.
Really long movie, and it's so abrasive in its loudness, and it kind of drowns out a lot of the dialogue. All you can hear is just,
Yeah. I think the score is good because it's not just like wah wah all the time. There's more dynamic in that. But
the score itself is good.
Yeah, but it's just overused and too loud. I was like, can you just shut up?
Could you shut up a second?
I want to hear what they're saying.
Literally.
And then that also ties into some of the editing choices, particularly in the first act. They have a lot of information they need to get through. So it's just like it's like an Oppenheimer biography on fast forward.
Yes.
And the score really just amps it up where it's like, whoa, can we slow down?
Yeah, the editing feels choppy at times, especially in the beginning.
I would say only there. It doesn't really work.
There's lots of visual cues that get thrown in on top of this sped up editing biography thing.
Yeah,
it's a bit much at the beginning. Like I would understand more towards the end, nearer towards when the bomb is about to blow up, like when he's building it and stuff. But at the beginning, it was like, okay, like it's just a bit heavy-handed.
The themes get like audibly repeated to you a lot.
Yes.
And that always bothers me, which we'll get into later with another movie. But the visual metaphors are sometimes a bit too obvious.
Yeah.
But again, it's Nolan, not expecting a lot of subtlety.
Yeah, and back to the editing. There's every scene where they were in a room, one singular room, and there's like 10 characters, and they're all talking to each other. It cuts so many times. Do. And it was just too much. I wish all these shots were framed in a better way where we could linger on these characters talking. But it was just cutting to a reaction, to someone talking, to a reaction, to a reaction, to someone talking. And I didn't like that. I want better framing out of some of these conversations and things like that.
But on a whole, visually, I thought it was excellent.
Yeah, it's very beautiful.
And then like the bomb testing scene is very great. Big impact in that. Yeah,
and like the explosion of the bomb is weirdly beautiful, and I just like how there was no CGI. That kind of, embolstered it to be bigger than what it was. It was just what it was, and it was refreshing to see that.
I think the best part is the actual creation of the bomb, the Los Alamos portion, which is like the whole second act, probably. It's probably a full hour there.
Yeah.
I think that's where it's at its strongest, and then I think it gets really interesting sort of ideologically in the last portion, which I think people, from what I hear, are complaining about, but I think that's what makes the movie interesting. Yes,
because it goes into a little more depth about the morality of creating the bomb, dropping the bomb, who's in the right, who's in the wrong. I mean, honestly, all in the wrong for even creating it in the first place, but it kind of gives a bit of a more nuanced take on it.
It handles sort of the nuance of the moral issue very well.
Yes.
In a way that I wouldn't expect from Nolan. So it's very matured take.
Yes, I agree. So overall, I thought this was a pretty good watch. Nolan's not my favorite. But this is one of his better pieces of work. So I would give it three stars.
I would give it 3.5.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about Barbie.
Yes. So Barbie is directed by Greta Gerwig, stars Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, and a whole bunch of other characters. And it basically follows the stereotypical Barbie, and she starts thinking about death, and she has to go to the real world to connect with whoever is playing with her doll in the real world to fix her problems so that they don't get worse. And Ken comes along, and it kind of cuts back from the real world to the Barbie world a couple times. And yeah.
I thought this was fine overall. A very fun and entertaining movie. Bright colors.
Very bright colors.
Well, in the Barbie world, there's bright colors.
Yes. It's entertaining. It does have its issues, which we will get into. But yeah, overall, it was a decent watch. I wouldn't say I loved it or liked it particularly.
So going into this, directed by Greta Gerwig, I love Lady Bird and Little Women, two of my favorite movies of the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And co-written with Nolan Baumbach. I also like his movies a lot.
He's okay.
And so I knew there was going to be something more than just like the silly Barbie story.
Yeah, I was excited to see what she would do with this.
Right, because the plot was sort of unknown until we were going in.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a little let down by the plot itself.
The plot and the themes and some other things I was definitely let down by.
We can start with Margot Robbie.
Yes.
Who I thought was great in this. This is like the most she's felt like comfortable and secure in a role, I think.
I don't agree fully, but I can see that. Yeah.
Okay.
She does a really good job. She's funny. She gives a nice emotional performance in this as well. That kind of grounds the film together. So I thought she was a standout.
Super likable.
Yeah, I've been liking the things that she's been doing lately with like Babylon and Asteroid City.
And then Ryan Gosling as Ken is very fun and funny. A little obnoxious at times. But again, that's, I guess, the point of Ken.
Definitely the point. He's fun. Kind of looks a little old. But that's okay. That's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, he was fun.
Everyone was good in this, except for Simu Liu. He looked like he was trying not to laugh the whole time. I was like, yeah, he's so unserious. Just get him back here.
I don't think he understood what exactly was going on.
Yeah.
I don't think he has the intellectual capacity to pull off a Ken performance.
Well, I mean, he was just... Maybe that is the perfect performance for him.
Right, but I feel like you have to have some form of self-awareness.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And Ryan Gosling has that.
For sure.
He does not.
Yeah. So Barbie has to go to the real world where she goes to Mattel headquarters. This is part of the movie. Mattel itself is within the movie.
Honestly, I kind of wish that the real world wasn't a part of this movie. To be honest, because I feel like the Barbie land is so interesting in itself. She could have built that out even more. With like there's the ugly dolls.
Right.
There could have been more of those. I mean, there could have been a whole bunch of stuff that we could have delved into in just Barbie world.
Yeah.
So I don't really care for the real world stuff.
Well, I liked the start of the real world stuff where Barbie like she has the nice moment with the older lady and she thinks she's beautiful because everyone at Barbie is just like young.
Yes.
So she sees like an old person for the first time. Small details in this really work, like that moment.
Yes.
And they have like a funny bit with like discontinued dolls. A line about how like we put so much pressure on representation being perfect that it makes the people that are being represented, it puts even more pressure on them.
Yes.
That's an interesting idea going on, but it's just hidden under this very vague and sort of bland takes on feminism.
Yes.
And the patriarchy and gender roles and mansplaining, which is all like fine and agree, of course, but it's just a little too basic on a whole.
These are all things that we know.
Yeah.
I didn't want to come to this and just be like, oh yeah, like of course.
Right.
I wanted to be, I wanted my mind to be a little stimulated and I wanted it to go deeper. It felt like there was too many hands in this movie. Yeah. It didn't feel like it was just Greta Gerwig. It felt like it was Mattel.
Yeah, you could feel the sort of corporatization of it in it at moments.
Yeah, it was like sanitized.
There were moments where it got a little deeper.
Yeah, so I think those moments are from Greta Gerwig herself.
Well, yeah. And there is just like a little bit too much going on with like Barbie meeting the creator of Barbie and talks of like what it means to be human, and then there's this mother-daughter aspect with America Ferrera and her daughter, I don't remember her name. And that relationship, they have like a core relationship with Barbie, and that whole segment was just very rushed.
It was very rushed. I particularly did not like the creator segment.
Yeah.
I thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think that should have been cut entirely. It seemed counterintuitive to me.
If they would have focused more on like the mother-daughter with Barbie,
yes,
it could have been better. But like that sort of resolved as soon as they entered Barbie Land.
Yeah.
Like the mother-daughter getting along, and then now we have to go into this Ken overtaking Barbie Land situation, which...
That stuff was a little too long for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't particularly care for it.
Yeah. He like learns about patriarchy in the real world and then enforces that to Barbie Land.
Yeah, it's like funny for a little bit of it, but...
Yeah, I get like the idea of that being funny in concept, and then it just, the mix of all these things, it didn't play out in a way.
Yeah, and it's like, it's hitting you over your head, like over and over again with the same message, and it's like, we know.
Yeah. We
literally know.
Yeah, I think the smaller moments and like more of the detailed stuff of this worked more than overall. But I still think it's entertaining, and I mean, it's, I guess, somewhat refreshing to see like a movie so made for a wide audience have just like feminism up front and not trying to hide it.
True.
But some more complexity. I just wanted some more of that.
Yeah, I agree. I liked some of the scenes where it was just shot in like this fast stage. It looks really cool, and it kind of reminisces back to like older movies. So I like Greta Gerwig's touches and flourishes and everything that she did. It just, there was something missing.
Great sets.
Great sets, beautiful sets, gorgeous colors.
Yeah, I also I didn't like the soundtrack for this is very bad, and the song, most of the songs are very bad.
Yes.
And every song in that album is in this movie.
And all the songs were not integrated into each scene very well.
No. The Billie Eilish song completely undercuts the big emotion moment. Like,
yeah, that one's
I don't want to hear
good.
Billie Eilish right now.
No, the Charlie XCX one made no sense.
Well, that's better because it's just like this stupid throwaway chase thing.
The only one that I actually liked was Lizzo's the intro part.
Yeah,
because
it was interactive.
It was interactive, and like there was a line change in one part of it that I thought was really clever.
Right.
But that was the only song that I was like, okay, that's fine being there.
Oh, the last line, it was funny. I thought the last line was good.
Yeah, the last line was funny.
That was a good setup and a good, yeah.
We needed more of that. Just like a little bit more, because it's made for adults. So just like a little bit more of that humor would have been really fun.
Yeah, but yeah, I liked it overall. Yeah. I wanted a little more. I would give it 3 stars. Yeah,
I agree. I would give it 3 stars. Definitely a fun time at the movies, and I love that people are going to watch movies.
Oh yeah, that aren't superhero or sequels.
Yes.
Even though this is based on IP, but you know, it's fine.
Yeah,
and it's a movie directed by a woman making all this money. That's good.
Yeah, and she's going on to do more blockbusters. So you know, we'll see. Netflix. We'll see how that goes. I'm actually kind of excited about her Narnia one.
I would be excited if it wasn't for Netflix.
I agree, but I'm interested to see where her career goes.
Barbenheimer's over. Now we have to deal with the discourse of both of them.
Yes, please be nice in the comments. So those were our reviews of Oppenheimer and Barbie. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.